Hello class. Today we are going to start with the chapter The Making of a Scientist. Richard Ebright has received the Searle Scholar Award and the Skering Flow Award for Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. So you should know that what two awards that Richard Ebright has won. So before starting with the chapter, I would like to give you a short glimpse that what this chapter is about. This chapter is about Richard Ebright, the great scientist who not only did many experiments related to the butterflies, but later on, with the help of his experiments and the experience that he had gained throughout the process, he has invented a process of DNA identification that nowadays is very important. Okay, so majorly his achievement was the DNA, the how to read the blueprint of DNA. Okay, so we'll read it that it was his fascination for butterflies that opened the world of science to him. So the main protagonist of this story is Richard Ebright, the great scientist, and this is a real story. So at the age of 22, a former Scout of the Year excited the scientific world with a new theory on how cells work. So he is a former Scout of the Year at the age of 22, means at a very early age, he got this name, he got this fame, that Scout of the Year name. And Richard H. Ebright and his college roommate explained the theory in an article in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. So this is an article that he wrote, and this is the title of the article, Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. And uh, heading, this heading plays a very important role because this was not a normal article. This was published in the journal, which isn't you can say it's not reachable. It's not easily reachable to that level because it's a highly classified and highly paid journal, and you can't just access it so easily by just giving a call to print your article. So it has a very privileged name. So it was the first time this important scientific journal had ever published the work of college students. And this was first time that they had ever published. So it's again another achievement for them. In sports, that would be like making the big leagues at the age of 15 and hitting a home run the first time at that. So it's an example, it's a comparison given that how it feels that when your article gets into that journal, specific journal, it's a big scientific journal, it's a big achievement. For Richard Ebright, it was the first in a long string of achievements in science and other fields. So ये first time उनके लिए एक बहुत बड़ा achievement level था, and that all started with butterflies. The whole story is surrounding the butterflies. It's all around about butterflies. Next, an only child, Ebright grew up north of Reading. Reading here, it's a city, it's a place where he used to live, in Pennsylvania. There wasn't much I could do there, he said. I certainly couldn't play football or baseball with a team of one. Why he mentioned team of one? Because he didn't have many friends. He didn't have any friends. And he couldn't have access to any of the friends, thus he cannot play baseball, football, any of the games that can be played in a team. But there was one thing I could do, collect things. So the only sole thing that he could do by being alone is that he could start collected things, whatever comes. Like many people have a passion of collecting stamps, collecting coins. So he started just collecting things. So he did. And did he ever? Beginning in kindergarten, Ebright collected butterflies with the same determination that has marked all his activities. So just imagine, generally we collect the non-living things, but what he started with the passion of collecting butterflies. He also collected rocks, fossils, and coins. Obviously, that was also part of his collection. Majorly, he collected the butterflies and he worked on it. He became an eager astronomer too, sometimes stargazing all night. Stargazing means reading the pattern of stars by laying down on the terrace. From the first, he had a driving curiosity along with a bright mind. He also had a mother who encouraged his. This is very important part. He also had a mother. Okay? So this is, he also had a mother who encouraged his interest in learning. So she plays a very important role in Ebright's life. She took him on trips, bought him telescopes, microscopes, cameras, mounting materials, and other equipment, helped him in many other ways. So this was the area which shows that how the mother was so engaging in his life, and she did every bit of her by providing her all the material that he wanted. I was his only companion until he started school, the mother said. So she was the only companion, means only friend, only mate, everything for her. After that, I would bring some home friends for him, but at night we just did things together. So at times she would call some friends of his school also to join him at home, but at night they just did things together. What? Who are they here? Mother as well as John Ibrahim. Richie was my whole life after his father died when Richie was in third grade. So we get to know that when he was in third grade, his father died. So this is again important. His father died when he was in third grade. She and her son spent almost every evening at the dining room table. If we didn't have things to do, I found work for him. So this was very, again, the second important role played by her mother, that if he doesn't have any work, so she makes some work for him. She finds some work for him, not in a physical work, not cleaning the house and all, but learning things. His mother said he liked it. He wanted to learn. He wanted to explore and learn. He did. He earned top grades in school on everyday things. He was just like every other kid. So normally, though, he was just another kid. By the time he was in second grade, Ibrahim had collected all 25 species of butterflies. Just imagine, by the time he was in second grade, he collected all 25 species. If you know the foreign pattern, there the grades go reverse, not like first, second, third. In the foreign countries, the grades are like third, fifth, fourth, third, second, first. So when you're in first, you're in fifth as per Indian style. So their grades go in reverse order. So collected all 25 species of butterflies found around his hometown. So, and there's a box given. You need not to learn this box. Just you should know that yes, he collected so many butterflies. Need not to learn this box at all. That probably would have been the end of my butterfly collection, he said. But then my mother got me a children's book. Again, third role played by her mother, where she bought a book, The Travels of Monarch 10. And what is the definition given for this book? Which told how monarch butterflies migrate to Central America. And this opened the world of science. This opened the world of science to the eager young collector. Eager means the one who is curious. So the one who is very curious, he becomes eager young collector, and then it opened the world of science for him. Next, the second section starts from here. Till now, we have read that how his basic schooling and basic training started. Now, please, we reach to the another section, the second section of the chapter, where we are going to talk about that how it impacted the book impact on him. Second part. At the end of the book, readers were invited to help study butterfly migrations. What is which book? At the end of which book? The Travels of Monarch 10. So this was the book name, and at the end of this book, the readers, whosoever was reading that book, were invited to study butterfly migrations. What is migration? Migration from one place to another. Okay, going from one place to another, and the birds do migrate. Similarly, the butterflies also migrate. So they were asked to tag butterflies for research by Dr. Frederick A. Urquhart of the University of Toronto, Canada. So they were asked to tag the butterflies for their research. And Ebright's mother wrote to Dr. Urquhart, and soon Ebright was attaching light adhesive tags. What is adhesive tag? Small tagging, जैसे आपको कपड़ों के ऊपर मिलती है वैसी सेम टैगिंग होती है उनकी बटरफ्लाइज की पंखों पे to the wings of monarch. And anyone who found a tagged butterfly was asked to send the tag. Why they were asked to send the tag? Because उससे उनकी direction पता चलती है. ठीक है? Like suppose I have dropped one butterfly from here and I made it fly and I've tagged it. So now from in which direction it has gone, वो north गई है, south गई है, east गई है, west गई है, ये यहाँ से if I'm in Faridabad, so it has gone to Palwal side or it has gone to Gurgaon side या नोएडा या दिल्ली कहाँ गई है, तो वो डिपेंड करता है कि वो कहाँ पे पकड़ी गई है, वहां से पता चलता है ओके द बटरफ्लाई हैज ट्रैवल्ड फ्रॉम दिस एरिया टू दिस, क्योंकि there's no any अगर हम एरोप्लेन को ट्रैक करते हैं तो there are many senses, but in the butterfly how can we identify from where it is coming. So this was the process used by Dr. Frederick A. Urquhart for identifying the migration route, कि वो किस route से कहाँ कैसे travel कर रहे हैं. So this was the method that they used to identify to track their distance, to track their directions. The butterfly collecting season around reading lasts 6 weeks. Around reading means the area that he was living in. So it lasted for 6 weeks in late summer. 6 weeks equals to 1.5 months. And if you're going to chase them one by one, you won't catch very many. So it's not possible, obviously, आप एक एक butterfly पकड़ो और फिर उसको tag करो और छोड़ो. So the next step for Ibrahim was to raise a flock of butterflies. Flock of butterflies, this is a collective noun, and he would catch a female monarch, take her eggs, and raise them in his basement through their life cycle. From egg to caterpillar to pupa to adult. So this was the process, and from the very beginning, we know this process from class third also, that how the butterfly grows. Then he would tag the butterfly's wings and let them go. For several years, his basement was home to thousands of monarchs. For several years, his basement was home to thousands of monarchs. So the name of the butterfly that he was cultivating in his basement was monarch. This is important. In different stages of development. Next, and this was again not important. Eventually, he began to lose interest in tagging butterflies, but it became a tedious, boring task for him, and there's not much feedback. So, because response बहुत ज़्यादा था in all the time he did. So, this is a summary that only 2 butterflies I had tagged were recaptured. So, just imagine the all about among all the butterflies that he had tagged, only 2 were recaptured, and they were not more than 25 miles from where I lived, and the distance was also not very far away. So this became very boring process for him, and it wasn't result oriented. Similarly, now you are studying for results. If you're not getting the results, it will become you will start losing interest in it. So next, what he happened, then in the seventh grade, now we are moving up to the third part of the story. Then in the seventh grade, he got a hint of what real science is. तो फाइनली उसको समझ आया कि रियल साइंस ये नहीं है, क्योंकि अभी वो छोटा बच्चा है, पढ़ रहा है. तो when he entered a county science fair, this is not country, many students write down as country, this is county science fair, and lost. And he participated and he lost. So this was a lesson for him. It was really a sad feeling to sit there and not get anything while everybody else had won something. So just imagine, except him, everybody was winning something or the other thing, but he did not win anything. Why? His entry was boring. His entry was slides of frog tissues. He just displayed the slides, PPT, which he showed under a microscope. तो उसने microscope के through एक slides दिखाई कि ये slides हटाओ, ये slides हटाओ, and he realized the winners had tried to do real experiments. तो इसके जो winners थे उन्होंने real experiments show किए थे, not simply make a neat display, not just showing that अच्छा ये आपका volcano है. आप वॉल्केनो दिखा रहे हो, एक वॉल्केनो में इरप्शन दिखा रहे हो, मूवमेंट्स दिखा रहे हो, कुछ एक्टिविटी दिखा रहे हो. Now तो technology has improved a lot. Many students, many kids are doing real experiments. They're even making up robots. So that will make you a winner. Okay, not just a display of any just structure. So this is what he did, and nobody liked it. So already the competitive spirit that drives Richard Ebrard was apparent. I knew that for the next year's fair, I would have to do a real experiment. So finally, he understood, and this gave him a lesson for the next one. He had to do some real experiments. So the subject I knew most about was the insect work, obviously, because since birth or since he has become conscious about his scientific theories. He's just been doing experiments with the butterflies only. So he knew a lot about insects. And this is well said that always present in the competition what you know the best. So I had been doing in the past several years. So he wrote to Dr. Urquhart for ideas, and back came a stack of suggestions. Stack means again a collective noun. Huge list of suggestions for experiments, and those kept Ebright busy all through high school and led to prize projects in county and international science fair. So he targeted his projects for the county and international science fairs, and he started working on them. For his eighth grade project, Ebright tried to find the cause of a viral disease that kills nearly all monarch caterpillars every few years. So he might have read somewhere that due to some viral disease, every year a lot of monarch caterpillars die. So now he becomes curious that why it's possible and how it's possible that so many butterflies get killed just because of a virus. So Bright thought the disease might be carried by a beetle. Beetle, you know that छोटा सा कीड़ा with black and red spots. ठीक है? Everyone must have seen it in the past. So he tried raising caterpillars in the presence of beetles. तो उसको beetles के साथ रखा. But कोई real results नहीं मिले. So, but I went ahead and showed that I had tried the experiment. But उसने ये experiment show किया. कि at least मैंने try किया. So this time I won. And this time he got some award. Not that he became the topper, but yes, he got some award. The next year, his science fair project was testing the theory that viceroy butterflies copy monarchs. So there's another category of butterflies that is viceroy butterflies. So finally, his other concept was to the second project. First project was simple flies that he lost. Second project that where he showed uh, he carried the experiment where presence of beetles and he showed presence of raising caterpillars in the presence of beetles. So this was his second project and there he won. Okay. The third one, viceroy butterflies copy monarchs. So this was his third experiment where he showed that viceroy once copy monarchs. And the theory was that viceroys look like monarchs. The theory here, because they just exact a copy of each other. So, because monarchs don't taste good to birds, so viceroys, on the other hand, do taste good to birds. So, this was the concept or theory that he has chosen. Okay. Viceroys, on the other hand, do taste good to birds. So viceroys बहुत tasty लगते थे birds को खाने में, and monarchs नहीं लगते थे. So the more they look like monarchs, the less likely they are to become a bird singer. तो viceroys बहुत intelligent थे, वो क्या करते थे? अपने आप को monarchs की तरह resemble करने की कोशिश करते थे, उनके अंदर मिल जाते थे, ताकि वो birds की dinner बनने से बच जाए. So this was the trick applied by the viceroy butterflies. And a bride's project was to see whether in fact birds would eat monarchs. तो उसका प्रोजेक्ट क्या था? ये चेक करना कि birds monarchs को खाती हैं या नहीं. He found that a starling would not eat ordinary bird food. There's a bird starling that would not eat ordinary bird food, जो birds खाती हैं, like the grains and all. It would eat all the monarchs it could get. And that was the precise bird that would only prefer eating monarchs. So Ebright said later, research by other people showed that viceroys probably do copy monarchs. तो उन्होंने कहा शायद, he was not sure. And there's a difference given. How is a monarch butterfly? This is a monarch butterfly and different from the viceroy. तो हमें मैक्सिमम टाइम दोनों हमने देख रखी हैं पार्क में. ठीक है, तो दिस इज अ monarch one and this is a viceroy one. तो वो लोग अपने पंख नीचे कर लेते हैं, try to copy them. तो his concept was to show that शायद ऐसा होता है. He was not sure of it, but he was sure of two things. That first, birds, starling is a bird that would not eat ordinary food, that would eat, second, that would eat only prefer eating monarchs. So this project was placed first in the zoology division and third overall. First in the zoology division and third overall in the county science fair. It got the third position. So I hope till here the chapter is clear. So you have talked about the first section where the mother is cultivating the curiosity and is trying to provide everything to Ibrahim. Second part where he was learning that how to collect butterflies and tagging, and then he became but it seemed tedious to him, so he stopped doing that. The third part, when in seventh grade, he started realizing the importance of real projects and he started experimenting more and more on insect section. So in this second year in high school, Richard Ebright began the research that led to his discovery of an unknown insect hormone. This is the fourth part of the story where he started discovering about an unknown insect hormone that he doesn't know. No name has been ever been given to this hormone. Indirectly, it also led to his new theory of life of cells. So indirectly, it gave way to his new theory of the life of cells, the most important theory, the most important impact that he gave to the society. The question he tried to answer was simple. What is the purpose of the 12 tiny gold spots on a monarch pupa? This question you should know, and you can write it down in your answers also. That what is the purpose? If you actually see the bird. So it's not mentioned here. Okay. Generally, I like to show you that whenever we have there's a gold spots like this. Okay. So he tried to make out that what is the importance of these spots on the monarch paper, not on the lower one, the upper one. So everyone assumed the spots were just ornamental. Ornamental means decorative. Like we have nose, we have eyes. So they are ornamental means they come directly from the god. But so sabne kaha ki haan, it must be a part. It doesn't carry any sense. So Dr. Irukat didn't believe it. So Dr. Irukat had made the statement that he doesn't believe in the fact that these spots are just ornamental or just normally a part of a body and doesn't have any proper purpose for it. To find the answer, Bright and other excellent science students first had to build a device that showed that the spots were producing a hormone necessary for the butterfly's full development. So they actually made a device, they built a device that showed what it showed. The spots were producing a hormone that was releasing a hormone that was necessary, that was very, very important for a butterfly's full development from a caterpillar to a butterfly. So this project won Ebright first place in the county where an entry. It led to an entry in the International Science and Engineering Fair. So this was a huge achievement. Again, at the very young age, it was a achievement for him. There he won the third place for zoology, and he also got a chance to work during the summer at the entomology laboratory. So for his experiments, because he was moving ahead with his experiments, so he got the chance to work during the summer at the entomology laboratory of the Walter Reed Army Institute. Just imagine, through his further discoveries, he got the access to work on these projects in the Army Institute of Research. This is a big achievement because Army's Institute of Research are not accessible so easily, and they are very important because they have all the high technological things on those research institutes. So as a high school junior, he was just a student of high school junior, Richard Ebright continued his advanced experiments on the monarch pupa. So what he did, he continued his experiments on the monarch pupa, and that year his project won first place at the International Science Fair and gave him another chance to work in the Army laboratory during the summer. So he again showed his experiments, that his advanced experiments on the monarch pupa, similar pattern, And that year he won the first place at the International Science Fair. So it was not written in detail that what he did in his advanced experiments, but that led to him win the International Science Fair first position and gave him another chance to work in the army laboratory during the summer. So that was again an achievement because he was moving ahead at the very right direction. In his senior year, he went a step further. So, just to give a recall, first experiment he did of slides, just a neat display of slides, and he lost. Second experiment he did two. Second one he did for wait, and the second one he did of just he showed that how monarch butterflies or the raising showed the raising of but caterpillars in the presence of beetle. Then he won the position or he got the position, but he did not won any county science fair. The third one, he showed that how maybe viceroy butterflies copy monarch, but exactly it's not. But he showed that this there's a snapping bird which just have which just eats monarch butterfly. So this was the third area, and there he won. The fourth one, he showed that how 12 spots in 12 golden spots on the monarch butterfly, they are not ornamental and they are very necessary for the full development of the butterfly. So that where he won the county science fair and got the entry in the international science fair. Then he showed the advanced level of experiment on this similar concept, and there he won the international science fair also, and that again gave him an access to work in the army laboratory. Till here we have read. Okay, next. So in his senior year, he went a step further. He grew cells from a monarch's wing in a culture and showed that the cells would divide and develop into a normal butterfly wing scales only if they were fed the hormone from the gold spots. So what he did, he grew cells from a monarch's wing. उसने cells को बड़ा किया from a monarch wing से in a culture and showed that the cells would divide and develop into a normal butterfly. वो जो cells थे वो अपने आप में एक normal butterfly में develop हो रहे थे wing scales only if they were fed the hormone like the gold spots. लेकिन वो तभी हो रहा था जब वो gold spots का hormone उनको provide किया जा रहा था. So that project won first place for zoology at the international fair. And now in the zoology department, again with the help of this experiment, he won the international fair just because of this golden spots. He won 3 times. Okay, first time he won at the international science fair. The second time also he showed it. The further experiment, advanced one, and he won the first one. First time when he showed this, he got the entry into the science fair. Okay, and this is the third time that he showed, and he won the first place for zoology at the international fair. He spent the summer after graduation doing further work at the Army Laboratory. So third time he again got the access to Army Laboratory and at the laboratory of the US Department of Agriculture. The following summer, after his freshman year at Harvard Agriculture, and did more work on the freshman year, Ebright went back to the laboratory of the department agriculture and did more work on the hormone from the gold spots. So he continued his research on those gold spots and using the laboratory's sophisticated instruments. Sophisticated means very hard to find. He was able to identify the hormone's chemical structure. So you know in science you must have read this chemical structure, SSA chemical structures banate ho, and then they linked up. Remember? So similar chemical structures he invented using those gold spots. And a year and a half later, so after 1.5 years, during his junior year, Ibrahim got the idea for his new theory about cell life. That finally, in the starting, we read that how this whole process will lead to his theory, invention of cell life, and with the every step moving ahead, finally he attained that, and it came while he was looking at the X-ray. So he was looking at the X-ray of the photos, chemical structure, and when he saw those photos, the bride didn't shout "Eureka!" or even "I've got it." He was not excited at all, but he believed कि, oh, these inventions have finally led to something huge. And what was that? Along with his findings about insect hormones, the photos gave him the answer of one of biology's puzzle. क्योंकि कहते हैं ना करते करते you get to know finally how the cell can read the blueprint of its DNA. So finally कि सेल की मदद से आप DNA कैसे read कर सकते हो? Finally he got this puzzle. So this was a huge question in that time period. And finally, he made it possible. DNA is the substance in the nucleus of a cell that controls heredity. So this is a definition of DNA. What is DNA? It's a substance in the nucleus of a cell that controls heredity. That controls, like if I have a black hair, this is why hereditary, because my parents had a black hair. So तभी कहते हैं ना अरे तुम तो अपनी मम्मी पे गए हो तुम अपने पापा पे गए हो this is all because of the genes, the heredity that we have. So this is all because of the DNA that we have in us. So it determines the form and function of the cell. अब तो टेक्नोलॉजी बहुत बढ़ गई है and now तो you can even see in the films कि DNA की मदद से कैसे कैसे dead body को हम identify कर लेते हैं to who the person is. तो but जब ये इन्वेंट हुआ था that was a big achievement क्योंकि एक नई चीज इन्वेंट हुई थी that can make the task very easy for the scientist. And thus DNA is the blueprint for life. That's why it's said that it's a blueprint of life. With the help of DNA, you can just get to know anything about that person, animal, anything. So Ibrahim and his college roommate. Now we are coming to the last section. Worked all that night drawing pictures, constructing plastic models of molecules to show how it could happen. So it was a big achievement, but they need to do planning. They need to do the presentation ready to show it to the world. Together, they later wrote the paper that explained the theory. So they wrote the paper means they wrote the whole process that finally how it works, how it all went. Because उनको क्या कराना होता है आपको surprising. It's just slipped out of my mind. We need to patent it. अगर हम patent नहीं कराते हैं तो anybody can use that concept. So surprising, no one who knew him. Richard Ebright graduated from Harvard with highest honors. And obviously कहते हैं ना practical knowledge always works better than your theoretical knowledge. So with the help of practical knowledge, he just won the highest honors because maximum time to he is in the laboratory. He was not there in the classes. So second in his class with 1510 points. And Ibrat went on to become a graduate student, researcher at Harvard Medical School. There he began doing experiments to test his theory. Finally started testing his theory, that what theory that he has come across, that is to read with the help of cells, we can read the DNA. So that process, he started his test over it. And if the theory proves correct, it will be a big step towards understanding the processes of life. So if it becomes a big hit, it's going to help us to understand the different process of life. And it might also lead to new ideas for preventing some types of cancer, other diseases. So हमें जल्दी समझ आ जाएगा. And once with the help of DNA, we can be able to identify the types of cancer also and their diseases. तभी तो अब doctors can tell you at what stage you are of cancer. That is only possible because of DNA. All of this is possible because of Ebright's scientific curiosity. So now this is a lesson for you, for all the readers, कि ये सिर्फ possible हुआ उसकी curiosity के पीछे. अगर उसके अंदर curiosity नहीं होती तो कभी भी ये चीज successful हो ही नहीं पाती. His high school research into the purpose of the spots on a monarch pupa eventually led him to his theory about cell life. इसके बाद उसका जो success theory था, that is eventually it led to his theory about cell life. इसकी वजह से उसको cell life. Next. Richard Ebright has been interested in science since he first began collecting butterflies. तो वो science में कब से interested था? जब से उसने butterflies collect करना start किया था. But not so deeply that he hasn't time for other interest. ऐसा नहीं था कि उसके पास इसके अलावा कोई काम ही नहीं था, लाइक आप लोग कहते हैं ना, नहीं मेरे पास तो टाइम ही नहीं है बिकॉज आई एम सो बिजी इन स्टडिंग, ऐसा नहीं होता है, बट नॉट सो डीपली, ठीक है, इतना ज्यादा नहीं। और आप तो वैसे भी समझ ही गए होंगे हाउ टीडियस और हाउ टायरिंग इट वाज फॉर हिम टू बी इन लेबोरेटरीज एंड डूइंग द रिसर्च, स्टिल ही हैड टाइम फॉर व्हाट he became a champion debater, was a very good debater and public speaker and a good canoeist. What is canoeist? जो बोटिंग करते हो ना, Techi boat, that is canoeist, being a canoeist if you're riding that boat. And all around outdoors. He was not, since he was a scientist, so you cannot say that he was very inward type of person, inward, introvert or something like that. No, he was outdoor person and he's also an expert photographer, just imagine. He had so many qualities and that he did not just inculcate it. That he tried to experiment on everything, and particularly of nature and scientific exhibits. So he used to click the photos related to nature and scientific. Because obviously, जब आप कुछ क्वालिटीज डेवलप करते हो वो जरूरी नहीं है आपको उसे एज अ प्रोफेशन बनाना, बट इट हेल्प्स यू इन योर प्रोफेशन अ लॉट. लाइक आई लव रीडिंग बुक्स, बट ऐसा नहीं है दैट आई लव जस्ट बिकॉज आई एम अ टीचर. I'm an English teacher. That's why I'm reading books. No, I'm reading books just to learn, just to make sure that the more I gain, the more I will be able to represent. Okay. So in high school, and yes, reading helps you. Reading gives you an intense knowledge. So I'll always ask you to read a lot. So in high school, Richard Ebright was a straight A student. And because learning was easy, he turned a lot of energy. He turned a lot of energy towards the debating and model United Nations law and did not waste his time in scrolling the screens that you might be doing. I'm not sure. So, but I'll highly appreciate if you actually stop doing that and use your energy towards your goals. He also found someone to admire, Richard A. Brewer, his social studies teacher. That's a very important third important person that plays an important role. First, his mother. Second, Dr. E. Brewer. And third one is Richard A. Brewer, a social studies teacher and advisor to both clubs. So the second one, whose book he has read, The Monarchs of 10. Just slipped out of my book name. And a social studies teacher and advisor to both clubs. Mr. Weir was the first person for me because he was the first advisor, first person that came into his life. He opened my mind to new ideas. Okay? He opened his mind to new ideas. And Richard would always give that extra effort. Extra effort means he was always there for him whenever he needed. What pleased me was he was this person who put in 3 or 4 hours at night doing debate research, besides doing all his research with butterflies and his other things. Richard was competitive. So another very important factor that he was competitive. He never had that spirit, oh, मैं तो हार गया, अब मैं participate ही नहीं करूँगा, it's not of interest or something. But not in a bad sense. Richard wasn't interested in winning. उसको जीतना नहीं था. Winning sake or winning to get a prize जीतने के लिए. He was winning because he wanted to do the best job he could. अगर आप इसी तरीके से efforts करते हो, just because कि आपको लगता है हर step आपको कहीं ना कहीं ले जाएगा, so you will definitely be a correct winner. For the right reasons, he wants to be the best. He doesn't just wants to be the best, just in words of getting some trophy or something. And that is one. And that is one of the ingredients in the making of scientists. So that was one of the ingredients. That was not the only ingredient, but that was the one of the ingredients in making of a scientist. That how he became scientist. Start with the first rate mind at curiosity. हमेशा आपके अंदर एक curiosity होनी चाहिए ये जानने की कि क्यों, कैसे, कब, and mix in the will to win for the right reasons. सही के लिए जीते. A bright has these qualities from the time the book, The Travels of Monarch 10, opened the world of science to him. Richard Ebright has never lost his scientific curiosity. So this was a chapter by Robert W. Peterson. That's all for today.